Hello, Glories. I am Tonya Cross. I am the accessory designer of Accented Glory. Accented Glory is my handcrafted fashion accessory brand where my specialty is cowrie shell designs. My pieces include hair accessories, jewelry, and handbags. What makes art so magical is you can take the simplest things and create something beautiful. For example, this is hemp cord. This is one of the materials that I use a lot in creating my designs and creating my pieces. And I also use Cowrie shells. This is the star of the show. So, what makes art so magical? I can take this hemp cord and add this to it, which is, oh, I dropped it. Add this to it, which is a cowrie shell, and create something beautiful like this hemp cord cowrie shell necklace with simply two materials outside of the rings that I added to add the cowrie shells to the hemp cord, but still simple to create something beautiful like this. That is the magic of art. The North African Moors are credited for creating the art of knot tying back in the 13th century. This particular art form was a technique created by weavers from their community. This particular art form is what I use to create the design that I just showed you, our Cowrie hemp necklace design. The Moors knot tying technique is a precursor of the macrame art form that most of us are familiar with today. So, in this episode, I'm going to share about the art of knot tying. So, I'm going to start out with the types of knots that I use to create my designs. The first knot we're going to talk about is the simple knot. This simple knot I use in my cowrie shell headband design. I use the simple knot to connect the cowrie shells together to make a string of cowrie shells, which I then in turn attach to underlining. And keep in mind, all of my underlinings are protective against drying out and breakage of natural hair, and that's hair that's not chemically altered. It's hair that grows naturally out of our scalps. And once again, all of my headband designs are adjustable. You control how tight the headband fits. Another place that I use the simple knot is for closures. On my Cowrie hemp necklace, I use the simple knot for closures. Matter of fact, I use this knot on all of my hemp cord necklaces. And also, I'll show you later how I use it on my bracelets as well. But anyway, the simple knot, just a simple knot, and I use it to create closures where I have a slight opening for the bead at the opposite end to go in to simply close the necklace like so. That's where I use the simply knot to create these openings on this particular design. This is an extension of the design for those who might need a little more length, but I have 3 openings total on this design. And this is the openings on the original necklace without the extension, and those were created with a simple knot as well. Did you know Did you know that one of the functional uses that the North African Moors had for knot tying was to create knotted fringes for camels and horses? They use this knot tying technique to create these pieces to place on the animals to repel flies, for the camels and the horses in the North African deserts. My research, in my research, I found that they use decorative fringes for this because what would happen when the animals moved, the fringes would move, and that would distract the insects and prevented them from landing. And from the research that I did, some of them use decorative things like cowrie shells and also beads and tassels. The next knot that I use that I want to share about is the hitch knots. I use the hitch knots. This is my cowrie shell bracelet, and I use the hitch knot to connect the hemp cord to the cowrie shell. So basically, I hitch the cowrie shell onto the string using um, the cow hitch knot to create that and to do that. I also use the cow hitch knot when I add jump rings or something like that to the design. And I use the cow hitch to connect the hemp cord to the jump ring. But that is another knot that I use called cow hitch to connect the hemp cord to the cowrie shell. The next type of knot that I would like to talk about is the square knot. This is another one of my cowrie shell bracelets. These are available in red, green, yellow, and black, just in case you were wondering. Um, with this particular, it's a square notch. I don't know. I'm trying to see if you can see it, but it forms. You use 4 strings of cowrie shell to form 4 strings of cowrie shell, 4 strings of hemp cord to form the square knot. You have 2 strings of cowrie shells in the center, and then you create the square with the other 2 strings that's on the side, along the side. Also, I use the square knot to create closure for this particular bracelet. This is an adjustable bracelet, so you can have whatever length you desire just by pulling the strings um, of the bracelet like this. But I also use the square knot to create closure for this particular bracelet. I also use a square knot on this design. Let me flip it around. On this design to create the chain for the necklace. And this is using the square knot technique. This is a form of weaving thread, well, not necessarily thread, but cord to create the look of the knot, which is the square knot. Another form of knot tying is where you take 3 cords or strings and tie them together. In the African and African American community or Black community, that is known to some as cornrowing or braiding, but where you take 3 strings and weave the strings together. I use that technique to create this particular earring design here. And this is my Cowrie hemp earring design. Many of you may be wondering why hemp core, why I choose to use hemp core to create my designs. Number one, it's a natural material, and I love working with natural, sustainable materials when creating my pieces. Second of all, hemp cord is a durable material, meaning that it lasts for a long time, and durability is one of the qualities of the pieces and designs that I create. Also, a lot of people who wear my jewelry are also travelers. They choose to do travel to whether the beaches or the islands, um, and they're in contact with water. Hemp core is naturally repels moisture, so you don't have to worry about it staying wet and then getting wet, causing any kind of mold or anything like that. So that's another reason why I use the material. And also, it's also UV, um, non-sensitive to UV rays, UV light. Usually it maintains its color. And some people are sensitive to metals, alloy type of change when it comes to necklaces and bracelets. So the hemp cord bracelets and necklaces give them a alternative, so they can still wear those type of designs and those types of pieces. And lastly, hemp core allows me to connect with the early artisans like the North African weavers who created the art of knot tying, which was eventually spread across other countries, other nations, and sailors are given credit for spreading the art of knot tying to other regions, to other areas, because they travel so much and they use the art to create hammocks, to create belts, which they use to either barter or to sell when they went to different ports. So yeah, that's why I choose hemp cord, and that's a little more history for you relating to the art of knot tying. Okay, Glories, we're wrapping up this podcast. I hope you learned something new, you learned something different when it comes to the art of knot tying. I hope you found the information I shared helpful and beneficial. Now, where can you find me? I keep it simple. I am on most social media platforms, and my handle is the same across the board. You can find me at Accented Glory, the at sign, and Accented Glory, which is my brand name. Where can you purchase my designs and my pieces? My designs are available on Amazon, Estes, and my website, where I have a boutique on my website, and that website platform, the platform on my website is my Square site. So you can find me there. You can find me on Estes at accentedglory.exes.com. On my website is accented-glory dot square dot site.com. Let me correct that. There's no .com at the end of my Square shop link. So let me repeat that and make sure I get it right, because I looked it up. It's accented-glory.square.site. And that's the platform that you will find on my website. You can either go on my website, which is accentedglory.com, or you can go directly to the Square site. But those are all the places you will find my pieces, my designs that you can purchase. I also sell, I have a TikTok shop. I also have Instagram. You can purchase off of Instagram as well. But I hope everybody has an amazing remainder day. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Be sure to give me some hearts. Be sure to comment if you have any questions or you just want to share additional knowledge that you may have about whatever topic I'm discussing. But let's continue to engage and to learn and explore more about the amazing Cowrie show. Take care. Bye.